was like, I'll be here. I'll just start them up and continue to work.
Heather, I may have asked you this. When does the senior center plan to open again?
So we're slowly reopening right now. We're doing drive-through lunches every day. Folks can come down and sit outside and have lunch outside. We've started having some activities. So when I say we're slowly reopening, it's really for folks that are specifically signed up for things.
Okay.
September, it'll be completely reopened for folks.
Okay, September. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, transcript is on, recording to the cloud and streaming live. I am muting myself.
Thanks, Maria.
How are we doing? Tired today. I actually did. I was here for my meeting last night, and then I left, and I actually fell asleep at 10:30 and woke up at 5:30. And yeah, and then I was telling Elliot last night, I said, by like Sunday, I'm gonna feel better. He's like, I'm giving it until Friday. And I said, how about Saturday? Let's give it till Saturday.
No, they're not muted.
Oh, sorry.
You're on.
For some reason, my picture keeps going black.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I don't understand what's going on here.
Is
Well,
your
if I go
lens
black,
colored?
I don't know.
It looks fine now.
So I guess I'm taking notes today, or minutes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So everybody okay with me doing the live transcribe, just so that I can go back if I need to?
Oh yeah. No, that's one of the beauties of it, actually, I think.
Yeah. Well, I just want to let everybody.
Well, because you can actually sit here then and listen without thinking about writing and then go back.
Yeah, that's exactly what I like to do. So.
And we're going to have a pretty small crew. We're only going to have 6 people.
Oh, okay.
Because
Okay.
Sarah's out, and then I think everybody saw Aaron's email, and then Chad sent me an email separately saying he wouldn't be here. So we're only waiting on 3 more people.
Okay.
Maybe it may not be a long meeting, depending on what people have to say.
Did either of you attend that meeting with David Fink for the whole affordable housing? I guess it was a couple weeks ago, because
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Did you find it?
I mean, I thought it was informative, and
Okay.
you know,
I've been kind of out of it since I'm caretaking for my parents, so it's been running back and forth. So
yeah, I think we're a little bit in the state. We're waiting, for the survey and all of that. So we're kind of just spinning our wheels is probably too strong of a word, but there's not much we can engage upon right now.
right. Do you know if they've found anybody, found anybody to replace David?
Well, the answer is there is a search out now. And if, the timeline works according to, timeline, everything works properly, we'd probably have that person in by early September.
Oh, okay.
Meanwhile, we have a fellow, John Goskowski, I think is how you pronounce it. He was on Planning and Zoning last night.
Oh.
He is a professional planner.
Uh-huh.
And he does this and actually consults to various towns, particularly like Madison, who have lost their planner or need additional remedial help or something like that. So, I mean, he sounds I had a chance to talk to him a little bit. He was an expert witness on one of the discussions on the ledges. And he sounds really informed, and I think he's a great substitute for Dave. I mean, it's hard to replace Dave because there's nothing like having your own town planner.
Right,
Dave
right.
was such a great guy. But I think he's going to be just fine in the interim in terms of helping us get through things. And
Oh,
it's,
so-
it's August too, and August kind of slows
Right.
down.
Right. So he's just going to be stepping in for a little bit as a
Yeah.
consultant? Oh, okay. Nice. Is
Yeah,
he
and then
local?
He lives up northeast corner of the state, I think. Is
Oh,
what I
okay.
think I heard.
All right.
So he consults for he and his partner consult for something like 12 towns in the state of Madison, or assuming the state of Connecticut right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I think we'll be fine.
Good morning, Andrea.
Good morning. How is everyone?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. I can't believe how hot it up already. I just walked outside this morning. I'm like, ugh, just getting.
Yeah, but nice. It's nice to have the sun again. I got.
Yeah, it's nice to have the sun, but the humidity. I'm not very good with humidity. Morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning. Sorry I'm late.
Matt, no worries. I think we're waiting on Andrea's here. Did anybody hear if Crystal's coming? Or
No,
does she often join late anyway?
I'll text her right now.
Okay.
Does anybody else get when you on the email that originally came from Dave, when you click on the Zoom link, it takes you into a webinar? Does that happen to anybody else? And so I can see you, but you can't hear me. It's odd.
That's weird. Yeah, I used the invite that came yesterday, and that's how I got in.
Yeah, that's me too. Mhm. Did we have an agenda? I didn't even look to see if we had
We
an
do.
agenda.
yeah.
It's not lengthy. Well, maybe we'll start just because I think I'm not sure we're going to get Crystal here. So let's call the meeting to order. First order of business is the approval of the minutes for June 18th. Now, Aaron had sent those out previously. I think everybody received them. And if you've all read them, can I get a motion to approve those minutes? Thanks,
Motion.
Andrea. Any second? Roz, any
Yep.
discussion on the minutes? Okay, hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Hi.
Okay, minutes are approved. That's 1 and 2 already, so we have 6 on our agenda. The third item is discussions with context, who we've talked to thus far in the neighborhood about, our charter, what we're trying to do, the survey, et cetera. And I'll get to our discussion with the library. It's the next agenda item, but I guess the question I had is, have you started having any discussions at all with people of Madison about this topic? Please, Andrea.
Yes, I interviewed, I think 4 people. I interviewed first with Joan Walker, the chair of the DTC, as well as Justin Ziegler, who is youth pastor for the Congregational Church, as well as leader of the Madison Diversity and Inclusion Committee. And I also interviewed Mike Halloran, who's the property manager for Concord Meadows
Wow.
through Wildwood Properties. And lastly, Elaine Reitman, who is the chair for the Concord Meadows Board. And without going into too much detail in each one, they were very, they all felt very strongly about the need for affordable housing, multiple unit dwellings, property that is not as extensive as the requirements are now for single family dwellings, to have smaller plots of land and less expensive housing. They all agreed that it was necessary for the older senior citizens in town that want to downsize, as well as younger people wanting to come in to town to be able to afford to live here, as well as people that work in town and would like to live here, such as town employees, teachers. I went to Stop and Shop to speak with the manager, and he was not there. He's coming back, I think later today, and I might be able to speak with him today. Just speaking very quickly with him, he was saying that his concern now is to try to get employees. He can't get employees, and employees that live in town would be more of a consistent group to be able to hold on to these jobs. And so he was saying that that would be a real strong point. All of them, people that I interviewed, were always asking about making sure that we have an objective in our survey. What are you looking for? What kind of questions do you want to ask? And to get as many different views as you possibly can, to possibly have focus groups first to discuss their ideas openly, and then working with the consultant to, I don't know how much they're going to be doing with the survey, but as far as our input, to have these focus groups and then add whatever we can to the survey. And I guess that was, and as far as location, they were saying in each case that it would be good to have housing downtown, but you could also have spread it out to other areas of town if you had some kind of transportation to get people to the train station, downtown, businesses and so forth. The property management director, Mike Halloran, was saying that he gets calls from all over the country from people who want to come into Concord Meadows. There's a 2-year waiting list. There's 198 seniors waiting, some since 2007 on the waiting list. He doesn't keep track of what happens after they call and express their need, but he gets dozens per week, he says, calls from people.
Andrea, why do you think he's getting calls from all over the country? Is it just the price, the rental costs there, or
Well,
obviously want to live in Madison, but
Yeah.
but
usually it's because of a family member that knows that their elderly relative will be coming to Madison and will need subsidized housing. That's pretty much the reason. But,
now, with the subsidized, is it state subsidized that they give to, or is it in Medicare, Medicaid, anything?
I'm not as familiar with this. He said the Concord Meadows is USD subsidized, not HUD, not HUD.
Okay.
And there are only, out of all of the units, there are only 90 units with 71 subsidies. 19 pay the basic rent, which is as high as $859. And excuse me, I do know that it varies, but the subsidized rate can go as low as $279,
Wow.
Wow.
depending on income.
Wow. And you said there were 70 that were subsidized?
71 subsidized and 19 pay basic rent, and that's as high as $859 basic rent.
Which is low.
Mm.
Andrea,
Okay.
how did you start off? What did you say? I got one schedule, but I haven't done any. What did you say when what were your first three questions?
It was pretty much what their ideas were on, I mentioned, where I was coming from as far as the committee. And are you in favor of affordable housing in Madison? And what are your thoughts about the needs of affordable housing? And what would you like to see as affordable housing in Madison? And what groups might be most interested in making use of affordable housing? And how do you get the word out? What kind of questions would you like to see on the survey? And the video as well, I asked about what other ways could we, educate or just get the word out with videos or posters or signage or town halls, so they were very, very positive towards all of those.
Did anybody bring up the cost of what it could possibly be for housing or rental costs?
I'm sorry, what?
Did anybody say, well, is it going to be 199,000? Is it going to be, 300,000? What do you think the cost? Did anybody ask
No,
what they thought affordable housing would be?
no. I think of the 4 people that I spoke with, a lot were thinking more towards apartment type dwellings or
Multifamily units?
multifamily units. Yeah.
Okay.
And Andrew, what suggestions do they give you for the survey itself? Do you have a couple that come to mind?
One person was very much involved in doing a lot of marketing in her career and making up surveys. And she was saying that it's really important to have objectives and kind of figure out what we want to find out, but also it's very hard to code them, but she was saying that it's important to have open-ended questions so you can get people's full feelings on the matter, not just a yes or a no, for people to describe what they would like to see.
It's great.
Okay.
That's a great start. Anybody else had conversations yet? Heather?
Andrea, you did a great job with,
Oh.
the talking with everyone. I took sort of a different approach. I reached out to Cheryl Campbell at Madison Community Services. And I also spoke with Lori Heflin, who's with the Neighbor to Neighbor program. I had to speak with her about something else, so I brought up the topic. I didn't get as in-depth as you did. I sort of just told them the process, where we're at in the process, and that there's going to be a survey that's hopefully coming out shortly, and that we would really like to partner with them in connecting with the community, connecting with the folks that they work with. And they seem to be pretty on board with, helping us out. I didn't get into specific questions about affordable housing. Maybe I didn't approach it the right way. So I don't know. I could go back and have another conversation with them though. I think your format that you put together, Andrea, is great. I think you got a lot of good feedback, and that's helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, Andrea, I don't know if you had an outline of what you were going to ask, but maybe you could share it with the committee because we could all kind of work off the
Okay.
same playbook. That'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be fantastic. Yeah.
I'd be glad to. Sure.
Thank you.
Will you email it to all of us,
Yes.
Andrea? Thank you.
So so your notes, should those reside in some repository, like on a Google Doc that, we have different categories and we can all look at these things? I don't know.
I think it's a great idea. I'm guessing Sarah will want to run the Google Docs. Somebody sent out 3 Google Docs quite a while ago. Maybe that was you, Heather. And maybe we can build on that. I don't know. But I still have them somewhere. But
Yeah, that would be really helpful. I'd love to see that, Andrea. That's really,
I can write up the full notes and I'll send them to Sarah, and then she can, if it's too wordy or too lengthy, she can go through it and figure out what the most important things she wants to have on the notes.
it's interesting. Anecdotally, I was at a going away party for Dave Anderson on Wednesday night at the Madison Beach Hotel. And one of the people that's on planning and zoning is John Matters, who's the general manager of the hotel. He was just saying, not only is it a problem getting employees, but when you get them here, there's just no housing for them to even be at. So one of the things is that it becomes a problem because nobody wants to come here because they can't live close by. And so it's just this circular loop that is just very, very difficult. And he said, we are so busy simply because we are having to do things like one day a week, we won't have a lunch at the beach club because we just can't man it. So, I mean, that's a different issue than affordable housing, but the two kind of go hand in hand, right? I mean, you're never going to get the people here if you don't have affordable housing. And of course, what we're going to do here in this program isn't going to solve that problem right now. I mean, part of that's COVID related, I suspect, but it really points out a huge problem. If you want people to work in your hotel, they got to be able to live close by.
Yeah, it's happening to too many small businesses here in town. I was talking to Walter over at the Sea House, Madison Sea House, and he literally has to be closed Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday because he can't get the help.
Yep.
And I was talking to somebody at Walker Loden, and the same thing. They're just like, we have a good core of people, but we still need people to, step up and come in. But oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to add on to that. Please keep going.
I did speak to another person that did say, actually, Magda from the bus company, and she was saying by the end of August, the stimulus will be ending. So, you need to fill the jobs, or you're looking for a job, get it before the stimulus ends, because then the market's going to be saturated with people looking for jobs.
Wow.
That's what I was told by Magda. So it's interesting.
It's interesting on the restaurants in town. It isn't just the Sea House, but they're all,
Yeah.
You would say, gosh, if you have people there, you should stay open longer. But the reason they can't is that they don't have the folks. And even we did takeout from the Sea House the other night. And it was obvious that most of the staff there was kind of new.
Yeah.
You know, and again, learning, and then there was a very seasoned manager there. So everything was, running reasonably smoothly, but you could just tell it wasn't perfect because they're just getting people as fast as they can. And, they take anybody, frankly, that they can, I don't mean it that way. They'll take anybody that's interested and just, wants to come to Madison.
Yeah. Well, Walter was saying too, that he's actually, because he has the bistro in South Lane
Guilford.
Bistro in Guilford,
Right.
that they're actually going between the two restaurants. That's how difficult it is to have good help. So it's a tough time right now. So hopefully it'll clear up by the fall.
Any other initial meetings? If not, I'll move on to our discussion with the library. So Sarah and I went over to the library, I guess it was Wednesday, and we met with, where's my notes? Suni Karpa, who is the library director, and then Betsy Piner, who I know from the foundation. She's part of the Friends of the Scranton Library, and that's kind of their fundraising arm, if you will, that helps sort of fill in the gaps for the budget. And then Laura Downs, who is in charge of special projects at the library. And it's interesting. It was my first chance to go into the library, and it's remarkable. It really is. I mean, it makes me kind of want to go there and just go read a book. And I can imagine a cold winter day, that would be just a great place to go hibernate. But the other thing that struck me is just the amount of space they have available for the town to use. They've got any number of conference rooms that'll accommodate, 12 to 15 people. They've got one major room that will take as many as 90 people with all the audio visual equipment you might hope for. So it's really well equipped. And one of the things, so Sarah did a really nice job sort of laying out our charge. And part of the message was to engage them into helping us carry that message, if you will. So when the survey gets done, can we have some focus groups come through the library where we say, hey, David Fink's coming Tuesday night, 2 weeks from now, mark your calendar. He's going to talk about affordable housing and begin to do some of that. Also having a kiosk up there where you might have the survey where somebody could come in and fill it out, or we can have the surveys next to the computers they have there. We even talked about perhaps some of us would man the kiosks periodically at the library or elsewhere, by the way, where people could just come up and, ask us questions about it and fill out the survey while we're there, et cetera. But the support the library is offering us is substantial in terms of time and manpower. It was a really productive meeting, and I would have been surprised to say otherwise, candidly, but it was just a very enthusiastic response, and it was very gratifying. And I think the library views this as its mission, to educate people about various things that are important to the town of Madison or otherwise. So we have a very, very helpful partner in the library, so that's going to be great.
That's wonderful. Are people starting to come back?
Yeah, Andrea, it was pretty full. I mean, again, I don't have anything to gauge it by because I haven't been a frequenter of it, but there were a lot of people there, at the computer terminals, people upstairs. There were a few kids reading books. They had this, it makes me want to have kids again. My gosh, you could go, the kids' room there is just unbelievable in terms of the books that are available, and the bookshelves are all really low so they can all get to them. Which is just, the thoughtfulness that went into the design of the library is just really quite remarkable. But I thought it felt vibrant would be too strong of a word, but it was well occupied, and people were rummaging around, and you felt a presence there. It was nice.
Good.
Great.
So more to come there, but they are very happy to work with us. So I think that's great. So the only other things we have on our agenda really is 2 weeks from today. I've been able to arrange a tour of the Spencer, and it says Spencer's Crossing. And that's my fault because I keep messing up the word. It's actually Spencer's Corner. It's in Centerbrook. You can Google it. It's right in the kind of the confluence of the 154 and other roads that come through there. And it's the top floor of an otherwise retail establishment at the bottom. So there's various stores at the bottom. The top floor have all been redone. And so what we'll do is we'll meet in the parking lot there. It's at 90 Main Street in Centerbrook. You can put it in your Navi and it'll take you right there. And I'll plan to get there early so I can make sure people see us. But there's a big parking lot there that you really can't miss, and we can all meet there. And we'll get a tour from 8:30 to 9:30. And we'll see 2 units while we're there. And then they also have. And we're not seeing this, but they have another development, of course, in Old Saybrook called Ferry Crossing. I think maybe that's why I'm getting them confused. And then, of course, they have the Wellington here that is to be developed on the east end of town.
So this is all Hope project.
This is all Hope Partnership projects.
Oh, partnership. Okay.
Yeah. But the general manager will, actually the manager of Spencer's Corner will be taking us through. So, and I think hopefully everybody will be able to make that.
Is the old Saybrook development that very large development near the train station? Is
Yeah, I
that
don't
the
think
one?
that's affordable, Andrea. I've wondered
No.
that too, but I don't think it is.
No, I spoke with a couple people there. The rent is pretty high, so.
Yeah.
Do you
They're
know
pretty,
where-
I mean, I think Spencer's Corner looks really nice to me. I mean, it's what affordable housing can be, I think. And and that's the kind of message. I mean, I almost wish as we're doing this, that Wellington was built. Because if
Yeah.
Wellington continues on from the 4 units that are already there that are market rate units to the rest of it, I'm pretty sure people will say, oh, I didn't realize it was like that.
Yeah.
Which would be great, but of course that's not going to happen. But I don't think they'll break ground for another year still.
So Peter, the Wellington, I can't remember. Is it going to be multi housing units? Is it going to be apartments and those single dwellings?
It'll just be apartments. And
Okay, it will be. Okay.
It will be
90, did I? I don't
no,
know.
it's 16 units.
Oh,
I
16.
think. Hang on here. I have to look here. I did pull that off. No, I'm sorry, it's not. It's 34 units, 31 of which will be affordable.
34, okay.
And importantly, so interestingly, there'll be 9 units that are only 25% of AMI. So very, very, very affordable. Average rent $454.
Wow.
Then there'll be 9 units that are 50% of AMI, and those rents would be around $900. And then there will be 2 that are 60% of AMI, and those will be at $1,089. And some of those maybe have 2 or 3 bedrooms. It's the chart I have doesn't explain that, but it will be well below the, we talk about 80% as being the threshold. It'll be well below that.
Could you tell me again what AMI is? I'm sorry.
Average median income.
Oh, okay. Oh, I should have thought of that. Okay. Thank you.
And most of them will be 1 bedrooms. There'll be a few 2 bedrooms, but mostly will be 1 bedroom. So.
Okay.
And then Sarah mentioned on the agenda that when we get the survey, and that's been a little slow, although I noticed there was an email that came out to us this week about another meeting with SSROC, whatever the acronym is. And so I put that on my calendar. It's later this month. I'm guessing the survey will be out by then. That's a speculation on my part, but I'm guessing that's true. And then so Sarah wants to have, hopefully, herd the cats and get us all in some meeting. I would think it has to be either early in the day or probably late for us to go over the survey and see if we can get our input into it before it goes out. So.
Yeah.
It says on the email that the agenda, along with the draft survey questions, will be emailed to you a week prior to the kickoff meeting.
Okay, thank you.
When's the kickoff meeting?
The 28th at 1
28th.
o'clock.
Yeah.
Wednesday, July 28th.
And
Right.
what time, Andrea?
1 o'clock to 2:30.
Right. And everybody should have gotten a calendar invite.
And it's a Zoom, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't believe I got that email. I'll have to check.
Yeah, I think you did because everybody's name was on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was from Sarah.
Oh, it was from Sarah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at here. Yeah, we're all on it. Actually, it came from Eugene Lifshitz, I think. At least that's who I got it from. And you're right. The draft survey will be emailed to you a week prior to kickoff. Absolutely right. Thank you, Andrew. So we heard him in that first meeting a couple of weeks ago. anyway, we're a bit of a Spartan crew here today. That was the sum total of our agenda today. Anything else for sort of the good of the order? Or we can give you half an hour back too.
One question, because as I said, I haven't been, I think it's been almost a month since I've been in any of the meetings, but has anybody talked about the town actually purchasing buildings or land and then turning it over to like Hope to do the affordable housing?
Right.
There's a few towns that have done that here
Yeah.
in Connecticut, and I'm just wondering if it was ever.
Well, I think that's something that's contemplated at some point in time, but I think that would be way getting ahead of ourselves a bit. So we sort of get the whole,
Okay.
what the town wants. We have to get buy-in from the Board of Selectmen. I
Yeah.
think we'll do it. I mean, there is a list of properties that
Yeah, 'cause-
that could be redeveloped elsewhere in town right now. I mean, we've been working on that on planning and zoning. So it is out there, but people occupy them now, and there'll have to be a lot of discussions about, do you want to do something different with it? But yeah, we're going to have to come up with a list, because we have to, I think, create some, people have to know we're open for business,
Right.
right?
Because I've identified like 3 properties that are actual businesses that are on the market that could be, they're not downtown, but they're on the post road.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I think, the whole transportation issue, I'm not sure who said it, but, we need to be close to transportation, but I think almost everybody that's got a job, even if they would be very poor, probably has a car somehow to get somewhere. It doesn't mean we should discount transportation, but I think we're gonna have to assume that we just don't have, tentacles going out everywhere where people we can put these things somewhere. So we're going to, I think, accept to a certain extent that people may have to, take a longer bus ride or drive to the bus station or something like that.
I don't know. I've seen more of the Connecticut Transit than I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think they've stepped it up.
Yeah, because now it has like Route 81 and 80, and I'm like, wow, I don't remember seeing this many buses or whatever. I don't know what they're called, vans, buses, but I see them more frequently than I have in the past. So that's a good thing for the transportation.
Yeah, I agree.
I have a question. So when I do talk to, I have an interview lined up with the former head of the Lions Club this afternoon. Should we then email those notes to Sarah and then let her put those someplace that's accessible?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, Matt. And then I think maybe what she'll want to do is just create a Google Doc that we all could do it then.
Okay,
as
great.
we have the conversations.
Right.
Rather than having Sarah have to do it, maybe just get it set up and established, and then we'll have a repository for people.
Great. Good.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, anything else today?
Are we still meeting on the 30th, as well as going to the Zoom on?
No, that will be in lieu of a meeting, Andrea. That'll just be
okay.
just the tour. Okay, well, I don't recall. I think we take. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Then
Move to adjourn.
Move to
second
adjourn.
from Roz or Matt. Either one. We'll take it either way.
Yeah, whichever.
All in favor? Aye. Everybody have a good weekend.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a
Yes,
nice
you
day.
too.
Okay.
Take
Thank
care,
you all.
everybody.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.